I'm Midnight Agent Raw.
And I'm Okame.
We are the Super Media Bros podcast, and we are founding members of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Hi, I'm Shannon.
I'm Jamie.
We're Married with Television, marriedwithtv.com. We are a couple of Hollywood normies on the outskirts of the film and TV industry, and we talk about our favorite TV shows, music, and movies, and sometimes they talk back to us.
Sometimes they do.
Our podcast is Married with Television, one word, on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, and SoundCloud.
Possibly Amazon soon. And we are a proud member of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Married with TV!
MarriedWithTV.com.
Juiced up Cool Cat.
Damn poachers.
I'm your last customer.
All that and more.
Curse you to the trauma unit. Stat.
Is it the ice cream man?
Super Media Bros.
Hey, guess what happened?
He melted.
Yeah, but we finally made it to Chicago. You know, it only took a while to get there, but we finally fucking made it.
It was because of the deep dish.
I'm telling you.
It brought him home.
We
Well, not home, but...
Okay, so now we've switched from cologne to pizza styles for this shit. The cologne is specifically reserved for Charles Bronson at this point. Welcome to episode 155 of the Super Media Bros podcast. I'm Midnight Agent Raw.
And I'm Okame.
Holy shit, guys. We're here to discuss the remake of Death Wish starring Bruce Willis from 2018, directed by Eli Roth. And goddamn, I think I can say we were both pretty goddamn excited to talk about this one.
You know, we were going through this film and we had this expectation pretty much set forth in our mind about there might be some cliche moments, there might be this, there might be that, that's kind of, you know, sticking to this, you know, stigma of what this film's going to be, basically. And yeah, it kind of does that, but at the same time, it wasn't really this bad of a film as we were expecting it to be. It was actually pretty damn good overall. I had a lot of like what the fuck moments and joy moments, and that was pretty badass moments, more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, but then when you take a look at who directed it, it's almost a given. I know why when we were looking up all the stuff while we found Sylvester Stallone, because like he was supposed to direct and star in this before this version ever came along. It was like all the way back in 2006. So at one point when this was going to get made and they started kind of going through their pool of casting, Russell Crowe, Will Smith, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, and Bruce Willis were all in the running to do this. But they definitely went with the right person. Let's just get that shit out of the way. They definitely went with the right person on this one.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to imagine like Sylvester Stallone as a surgeon.
Dude, with that fucked up...
Next patient, please. I got a cut right here.
Wait, we'd be better surgeons than watching Sylvester Stallone try to do this shit. Because I have a feeling that Sylvester Stallone doing surgery would be like Surgeon Simulator, the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's literally, he's like, oh, yeah, he just fucking like drops the hammer into the fucking chest cavity. He's like, oh, shit, let me, you get that out. And, oh, this is hard, man. You just put it in the microwave.
He like puts boxing gloves on instead of like surgical gloves. Like, doctor, why are you using boxing? Hey, it helps, man. You know, knocks the patient out so they don't feel a thing.
Oh, Adrian, I did it. I've successfully completed surgery.
Takes 10 years to get your surgery license. It took me 10 days. Stallone, that's not a surgery license.
Oh, you could have fooled me.
Well, I don't care. I can cut people legally.
God damn it.
Anyway,
yeah,
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, no shit. Let's jump into this motherfucker, because in this version, Paul Kersey lives in Chicago, which we referred to because at the end of the original, he was supposed to, or he goes to Chicago. But he's a trauma surgeon in this one, which is kind of a reference to Charles Bronson's version of Paul Kersey doing that shit in the Korean War.
Right.
Being in the medical unit. Well, some of the names are changed. Like we had Frank Ochoa, who was the detective in the original. Well, Frank has now been an added character, which is his brother, played by Vincent D'Onofrio. His wife is Lucy, played by Elizabeth Shue, and his daughter Jordan by Camila Moroni. I may have mispronounced that, but fuck it. So yeah, I mean, it's almost the same kind of setup, but not really. I like the fact that we kind of get more time with the family. You know, you get more of an attachment. You get more of Paul's relationship with his wife and his daughter and his brother. That he's a true family man.
What I also like too is throughout the film, there are a lot of nods to the original in subtle ways, not so much like word for word the story or word for word recreating the movie, but there are little things that pop up. They're like, I remember that.
Right. And we'll definitely pop those in as we get to them because there's quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
So the setup with this one is that his daughter is going off to college. And so they're all out to dinner to celebrate. And there's this valet guy named MJ or Miguel or whatever the fuck his name was. And he offers a valet park the Kersey's vehicle. And it wasn't until this moment where I was like, oh, this is how they do it. Good old 2018. Good old having, GPS in your car and putting your home address in because this motherfucker just snapshots the Kersey home address. Yeah, and it goes downhill from there.
Now, granted, the very moment that everything goes to shit, it's not nearly as cringy as the original because, first of all, there's no rape scene, which is
thank God.
Yeah, I'm done with the rape scenes, but it wasn't as high energy as the original either because with the three muggers, they were just this chaotic bunch of misfits basically that were just terrorizing the family, whereas in this one, it was literally three burglars just stealing shit. And while there was a brief moment of one of them just kind of being pervy, really being pervy, I shouldn't say kind of, he was pervy. They all had the mentality of like, no, this is what we're here for. Don't fuck around. Shit goes awry. And the mom and the daughter get shot.
Yeah, because Jordan was trying to defend herself at one point.
Well, come to find out that Kersey was the one that heard the PA, I think, for the two victims coming in, and two of his, well, I think it's like two or three of his co-workers stopped him. It's like, look, Paul, hold on. And we all knew that, they were telling him what was going on.
How fucked up is that shit, though? You know what I mean? Like, okay, so like in the original, you've got, Paul Kersey being an architect, he gets his phone call or whatever. But dude, to be working at the place in the trauma unit and see your fucking wife and kid just get wheeled in there. That's what I mean. Or just being told that, hey, that's them.
Yeah. So, like you said, there's so much more to this film in this one scene, like alone, because when Paul saw Lucy on the table, before he even revealed her face, it was just like you see him just break down, like emotionally. And nothing against Charles Bronson by far. Like, he's a great guy regardless, but he was a lot more flat compared to what Bruce Willis delivered when he found out that his wife died.
Right. And you get that moment, like you said, before he pulls the sheet off of her, where he's just mentally preparing himself for what he's about to see because it's not going to be good. I mean, obviously it's not good either way, but still.
Right.
And it just hits that much harder. And then finding out, oh, Jordan's in a fucking coma. Great.
Which they kind of tie in, the same kind of concept with, Carol in the first film with Jordan, this one, like the brain damage and everything like that, which not nearly as traumatic on Jordan's end. Basically, like you say, she was in a coma throughout most of this film, and Paul was there and trying to, comfort her as best he can, and everybody's trying to help out what they can. Well, this is the point where he starts to like realize that, something is not going to be done. And it happens over a couple of sequences, but nothing's going to get done by the right people, basically.
Yeah. And in this movie, the detective is Kevin Raines, played by Dean Norris, who plays Schrader from Breaking Bad, plays Walt's brother-in-law. He's essentially playing, I'm not going to lie, he's essentially playing almost the same fucking character in this one. I'm not even going to lie. And his partner, Leonore Jackson, they are telling him, pretty much the same thing, where it's like, in the original, where, man, we're doing our best.
Yeah, because in his office, there's like at least 40 or 50 like open cases. So it's like, where do you even begin? Because there's no way to find anything on anybody these days.
Right.
But we go to the funeral and everything, and Paul delivers Lucy to her hometown in Texas, and her dad drives him home to basically kind of, I guess, deal with everything that just happened.
Yeah,
this part made me laugh because the guy just literally like looks off the side of the road, books it to the ditch, basically into the fucking field, and he's like, poachers. And Paul's just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? So his father-in-law like gets out a fucking rifle, and you see like 3 guys like booking it in his property, and he starts like shooting at them. And he told Paul to fucking get a gun and let's go. And Paul's just like, what the hell you want me to do? I don't know how to shoot a fucking gun.
They're just poaching eggs. What are you fucking doing?
And I was telling him earlier when I was watching, it's like, what if they had like a spinoff like parody of that scene where it's just him like poachers and it's just guys like poaching his eggs.
It's Egg Wish.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. He just runs up on him. It's dudes just on the property. Like, they're not even breaking anything. They just borrow like a piece of the property to build a campfire and just start fucking, making their eggs. And they just look like, huh?
we were hungry, sir. I don't care.
Those are my fucking eggs.
Poachers.
Fuck you, poachers. Yeah, but that scene is a little important also because in that same breath of conversation before he stops the truck, he's asking, have they found anything out? And Paul's basically like, oh, the police are doing the best they can. And as soon as he stops the truck, I thought he was going to just look over at Paul and be like, give him the same speech that Paul Kersey got in the 1974 version about, no, you need to take the law into your own hands and own a gun. That's pretty much what this setup was. After the poaching scene, he shoots him. He's like, you got to get your own protection because the police ain't going to do shit, buddy.
They only do something when it's after the fact.
Yeah, he's like, by the time that they get there, the crime has already happened and nothing comes of it. So this is when Paul decides to go to Cool Cat's Gun Emporium.
No lie.
Because he sees the fucking commercial on TV for Jolly Rogers, okay?
This has to be some kind of spinoff of Derek Savage's self-defense.
Get the gun self-defense for ladies and for men, too.
Because the way that they filmed it, it was pretty much almost like exact.
It looked like the exact spot in the Nevada desert where he's just fucking shooting water bottles and signs and shit.
Then we get the fucking logo, which is literally Cool Cat on steroids.
He is one jacked up son of a bitch.
He got tired of being bullied by fucking Dirty Dog.
He's like,
I've had enough.
oh no, what am I going to do? I'm going to get jacked up. I'm going to get jacked up.
Like he finally grew up and was like, I'm tired of this shit. Starts shooting up fucking steroids like every morning. He's like, yeah, juice it up. Get my shotgun ready. Daddy Derek, can I borrow your guns?
He gets the fucking whey protein. He gets the PCP from old boy from Death Wish 2, and he has like the steroids mixed into it and like a little fucking shaker. And he doesn't drink it like normal. He just stabs it with a knife and just shotguns. He's like,
what are you doing, Cool Cat?
Get my cocktail. Get out of my room, Dad.
When he's scratching his fucking stomach and his leg twitches, and Derek just shuts the door like,
No, instead of him doing that, he's like cleaning his gun like vigorously. Get over here. Here. Get it clean.
Gotta get it clean. Gotta get it clean, Cat.
But yeah, it's pretty much, an advertisement for a gun shop in town, and Kersey decides to go and visit, and here's Bethany, the freaking owner of the shop.
Oh, she's great too.
Yeah.
Love me some Bethany.
Yeah, she's like selling him left and right, like, what kind of gun you here for? We got all these guns here. We got all this here. And he's looking around. He's like, oh, what about the paperwork? I'm pretty sure that's pretty intensive. And she's like, well, we got all this going on. It takes this long. And then after this, and she's going like verbatim policy, basically. So at that point, he has a kind of a mental idea of what he's getting into.
Yeah, he kind of, not necessarily chickens out, but he decides against purchasing one. And we forgot to mention, like, before this purchase happens, he tries to stop an assault in an alley in downtown, and he gets his ass kicked. Because this version of Paul Kersey has never shot a gun in his life.
Yeah, he's only saved lives, not ended them. But yeah, we get to the trauma unit victim that he saves next.
There's a thug that gets brought in, and when they're switching him from the gurney to the operating table, his Glock 17 hits the floor, and Paul just looks down and he just kicks it under the fucking gurney, and he pockets it. and decides to go to some kind of like parking garage area or just some kind of garage area or some shit and fire a gun at a street sign that ricochets the bullet everywhere. And I'm just like, oh.
No, what it looked like is one of those like storage containers that they get shipped on, like cargo freights. Because it was like, it looked like the same siding.
Yeah, it was like enclosed and shit.
Yeah.
But it was funny because at first I thought, oh man, we're going to get the version of Paul Kersey that's like, he's just going to go wildly doing target practice on people.
Mm-hmm.
Little did we know. Little did we know, like we forget quickly that we live in the YouTube age. So what does Paul do? He decides, I'm going to just teach myself how to fucking clean, switching my fucking ammo, how to fire it, how to do target practice. And he just teaches himself. I mean, he's a smart guy. He can teach himself. It's not like it's rocket surgery or anything, as David Lee Roth would put it, because it's rocket science, not surgery.
Well, I just wonder like how long it took him from point A to point B to do all that, though.
You mean like the time span?
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think it took him?
I mean, given the amount of videos he probably watched, I would say at least a week or two.
It's kind of impressive if you think about it.
Yeah. Just a thought. I mean, I don't think it took him that long, but I don't think it was like a couple of days later. He knows how to shoot a gun.
Then we get to the first time he goes out to stop a crime because he puts this fucking gray hoodie on, and I'm sitting there looking at him. B Rabbit, is that you?
Mm-hmm.
We going to 8 Mile. This B Rabbit. No, he's walking down the street and sees this carjacking happening, and he just, hey, he just fucking announces himself to the world at this point. It's a pretty goddamn brutal scene. You know, a lot of the violence in this movie is a little bit on the brutal side, but holy shit, dude, I fucking enjoyed the hell out of this.
Mm-hmm.
He shoots the one dude in the, I don't know if that was a wound from like the car crash or whatever, but it looks like he shot one of them in the fucking eyeball.
No, I think he hit both victims, but it was just not in the like certain points that we expected, I guess, because there was one guy, he got literally shot in his, I think it was his left eye. And he eventually got him because basically Paul dropped to the ground when he got shot at. He stumbled to pull his gun out, and then he caught both passenger and driver in the vehicle, but the gun reloaded and it caught his skin between his thumb and his index finger and like pretty much pinched it off almost. So he finally got it all fixed and shit. Well, the guy with the missing eye literally came out. He shot him down, and he walked to the car, and the victim was in the car. She bolted, and the guy that was driving the car, he literally got shot in the throat. I mean, he pretty much bled out at that point when he got to the window. Yeah, and the entire time that this is happening, there's a chick on the inside of one of the buildings filming the whole fucking thing and putting it on YouTube. Which they eventually deemed him the Grim Reaper throughout all of this like internet sensation. Yeah, because what was it? Was was Sway's channel on XM radio, and was the Man Cow show? Man Cow, yeah. Yeah, they had those guys featured prominently as kind of like between scenes you would hear them talk about him and all this other shit like that. And then when Raines and his partner go to investigate the scene, the chick that put it up on YouTube is talking about how like this dude is a fucking hero and she's getting a shit ton of hits on this. Couldn't identify him. And it was almost the same as the original where nobody would identify him because they didn't want to give him up. Right. They Rick Astley him. Yeah, they did. Now, Paul, it's weird because I think this version does a little bit better job of Paul being able to figure out what his next target is going to be as far as his vigilante shit goes, because he sees this kid that comes in who took, I think he, got grazed or something on the leg with a bullet. And the kid is like, oh, it's the ice cream man. Like, you can't walk up and down the street unless you pay or buy this guy's shit. Right. And Paul just looks down and sees the address that this kid is, from. And he's like, you're going to be okay, kid. One of the best fucking scenes in this movie. God damn it. Oh, I definitely agree with this. Paul just strolls up the fucking street, broad daylight, just strolls up the street. And there are these fucking three dudes in this ice cream tub in front of this front lawn. And basically what they're doing is they're just making people fucking pay them outrageous amounts of money for this shit at gunpoint. And they just look at Paul walking up in his fucking hoodie and everything. Dude gets his gold gun. He's, who the fuck are you?
I'm your last customer, and just blows him the fuck away in broad daylight. And the dude's wearing all white, so there's just like blood splatter everywhere. Oh my God, it was so glorious.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he just like,
yeah. I mean, he fucked him up. It was beautiful.
But what was interesting about this part is when Rain pulled up and was investigating the scene, they saw these two kids like down the street pretending to be the Grim Reaper and the victim, and the kid was basically finger gunning the other kid with his left hand. So Rain was like, was he left-handed?
Yeah, they went back and watched the video.
Yeah, and they saw that he was left-handed. So they immediately put two and two together that he's left-handed and he has a wound on the left hand from the gun misfiring because he doesn't know how to handle a gun, basically.
Right. And this is one of the references we were going to talk about too, because this is a reference to Paul Kersey from the original series, how much he loves ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Because he gets ice cream, I think, in every fucking movie.
All three films that we've seen.
So far. And he's like, oh, the ice cream man. We were both just like, oh, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
This man's going to besmirch the beautiful ice cream as a snack. And Paul Kersey just taking it back.
The blue Hell's Bell.
Yeah. Yes. This is where I think he finds Miguel in the trauma unit.
Yes, I believe. Because this is when he starts piecing shit together. It's like, okay, I'm finally getting to where I need to.
Right.
But yeah, he comes up. Basically, I don't know what happened to the guy. I don't know if he got like beat the shit up or he got shot or whatever, but he was pretty much bad off to the point where he was just going to be going flat. Well, Paul was doing the paddles, and he noticed on his wrist that he had his watch that got stolen from him on his birthday.
Yeah.
And we both kind of looked at you as like, he's going to let him die.
Yeah, he fucking did let him die too. Because at first he was like, hey, wait a minute, I know this kid. And he was going to try to save him. Then he saw the watch. He was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah. Well, due to certain circumstances, he pretty much pocketed his phone and his watch. Because like, bro, this is my watch. No.
Fuck you.
But yeah, he pocketed his phone. He literally went to his body, used his thumb to open the phone, and went through all his shit.
It was so goddamn funny. He just lifts his hand like, slide.
Well, would have been funny because like this is back in the day when Face ID was still a thing. He could have been like, face lock, just pull the freaking sheet up. Oh, all right, there we go. I'm good.
Siri pops up.
Miguel, you look a little beat up.
You look a little pale.
Bruce Willis looks down. Shut up, bitch. Just keeps fucking scrolling.
Turn Siri off. Yeah, so he starts thumbing through the pictures and he finds a picture of when he took a picture of, and that's a lot of way of saying picture, but he took a picture of his fucking address in his car and it was like,
this motherfucker here.
But he eventually finds his next location,
which is the liquor store. And I believe that's where Ponytail, the character Ponytail is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he goes to the back section because he kind of figures out that this is just a front for them selling all the shit that they steal from people.
Yeah, like that. It's a fencing. They pawn off all the stolen goods and they sell them to people.
Let's talk about the old guy sitting at the bar when he walks in and the TV programming that he's watching and how much I want whatever that fucking channel is.
Okay, I am so jealous of Mexican television, like anybody Mexican, because they must have access to this like short skirt bowling league.
It's like it's Telemundo, and then two shorts like just bare ass and bowling.
Yeah,
they should probably call that bare ass bowling. That's probably what it's really called. I don't fucking know, but we were just like, I think I'm a little more intrigued about this right now, and it's not even. It's more out of curiosity. It's like I want to know what this actual fucking programming is because this is good shit.
You know, if I was Eli Roth in that movie, I'd be like, nope, put the camera back on the TV.
He fucking did a little bit too.
It's like, yep.
I was laughing too because the dude that was sitting there, like the old guy, he was just like, he's just with his cane, just kind of like not like shaking, but he was just like into it. He's like, fucking Ponytail.
He was shaking like the booty shakes.
He was, man. And then Ponytail just looks at Paul. He's like, you can't be here for this. He about to get his jack off on. You can't be here for this.
This is his 9 o'clock beat off. Grandpa don't like the audience.
Right. But no, Paul Kersey poses as the owner of the restaurant that Miguel does the valet parking for. which he almost convinces Ponytail of. But we forgot to mention the hoodie that he wears to this one is actually Miguel's hoodie that he stole from the laundry chute. And it still had his fucking tag on it. So Ponytail notices this and he's going behind the bar. And Paul just happens to notice in one of the mirrors behind the bar that he's reaching for a gun. So he fucking stabs his hand to the fucking table with a dart.
Yeah,
Ouch.
I can watch someone get their brains blown out. I can watch them get shot here and there, but just certain physical like pains and traumas, I can't do. That was one of them because literally it went straight through the fucking like middle of his hand. I was like, fuck that shit. I can't.
Yeah, because it was on the back of his head. Like if it was through the front, I could maybe get through, but on the back, I was like, oh God. Yeah. Because I hate needles. And I especially hate having it. Like anytime I would ever go into like a hospital or ER, I needed like blood work done. And they had to fucking stick the top of my hand with the IV. I fucking hate it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing that came to mind.
But before that happened, Ponytail actually texts Fish, one of the three guys, what was going on. So ironically, Fish showed up.
Yeah, right whenever Paul had him in the back and he was about to get all his shit back. Yeah, he kept telling him, he was like, don't make me put a fucking bullet in your mouth. And it's no sooner than he fucking said that, in comes Fish. Paul sees him, ducks, Fish shoots, and literally blows Ponytail's brains out from the back.
Through his ponytail.
Yes, he fucked his ponytail up.
So they're literally having a little gunfight, and Fish eventually gets to the back of the area where Paul is, but he slips and falls on his friend's blood that's pulled up. And I'm trying to remember like how,
the goddamn bowling ball, dude.
Well, no, that was after the fact.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, God damn it.
Yeah, because he tries to, I think he shoots him in the fucking leg, and then he drops the damn shelves on him, and then they eventually like get to this like little squabble about who the next victim is, where he's at, and he gets his information, but then he gets pretty much pinned to a wall by Fish, and he hits the wall so hard that there's a bowling ball on the top shelf, and I'm literally going, oh my God, it's like fucking Tom and Jerry right here.
Yeah, exactly. It's some fucking like Wile E. Coyote, Tom and Jerry bullshit.
Fucking, it just casually rolls down and just smacks the fucking shit out of Fish. But that doesn't stop there. No, he falls on his own gun while Paul holds him up and like shoots him through the fucking mouth.
And out the back of the head. Blood splatter everywhere.
I mean, it's like a fucking like Bill Goldberg, just like chain event, wall, bowling ball, fall, gunshot.
Dude, they both had issues with their guns at one point too, because Paul's gun gets jammed. And we were making a joke about, well, I guess the guy didn't release a YouTube video this week on how to unjam your fucking bullet chamber.
Or he got, taken off for demonetization or something.
He got demonetized. He's like, fucking. And then Paul's just like, well, fucking YouTube's next. Like, trying to fucking put a fucking chamber back. He's like, fucking YouTube's next.
Damn it, Google.
Fuck it. That's what happened with Fish. His gun got jammed and put him in a fucking jam. Then he got his fucking brains turned into jam.
Jammy jams.
It's a bunch of jams.
This is my jam.
Strawberry.
Yeah.
So after that fucking fiasco, Rains and his partner go confront Paul's brother Frank at the batting cages, and they notice that he's left-handed.
And that he has a history.
Yeah, we kind of forgot to get into that a little bit, because I think at one point, doesn't he say that he's a convicted felon for whatever it was? And they try to finger him for the job, basically. And you're thinking, fuck. Like, they're just, like, the dude's already trying his best to, like, get past it. You can tell Frank is trying to be, like, a good dude and, move on with his life and shit. But right. I thought they were going to royally fuck him.
See, the way that I thought it was going to play out was literally Paul had to choose between letting his brother take the rap or him take the rap.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either. But that's a very good point. And this is where Paul goes to the body shop, because Fish has given up Joe. Joe is the guy that Jordan cut in the face. And then we forgot to mention that Lucy, before they shot her, throws that fucking pot of boiling water in his face too.
Yeah, they were making a cake for Paul's birthday, being that he had to go to work instead of celebrate with them. And during that whole fiasco, she was boiling water. Well, when that whole shitstorm happened, she just launched that fucking water at his face, and it immediately went red. Like, it was just so fucking like, ugh.
It was just like an instantaneous third-degree scalding on his face.
But what I don't get is in this scene, he doesn't look like he got scalded at all.
Right. It's got to be weeks after the fact. Like, but even still, he should be
like some kind of scar tissue or something.
Scar tissue, putting some fucking kind of lotion or some fucking salve on his face or something.
Yeah.
Maybe Paul's milk. Just put Paul Kersey's milk on his face.
Because the fucking knife wound was still pretty deep and decent. Like, it was still noticeable. It wasn't like a scar. So I would imagine the burn from the water, it was enough to do second-degree burn at least. Maybe
it cauterized his fucking knife wound on his face.
It just all went straight to the fucking wound.
That's it. It's like, yeah. Absorption.
Mm-hmm.
I think this might be my favorite kill scene in this movie. Because he's underneath working on this car, and Paul just leans down. He's like, "You're Joey, right?" Like, yeah, what of it? So Paul grabs a big-ass fucking torque wrench or monkey wrench or whatever the fuck it is. Hits him in the balls with it, and then he hits him so hard the dude, like, juts up and knocks himself out on the undercarriage of the fucking vehicle.
Chassis, yeah.
So then Paul's got him under the car. The car's jacked way up, probably good, like, the front end is jacked at probably a good, 7-8 feet in the air.
At least.
And he's got his legs on cinder blocks, and I thought he was going to fucking Nick Cage Wicker Man his fucking legs at first, but no, Paul's going to play doctor. And he's going to play doctor really fucking well with this guy.
God, this part was so fucking cringy. Ooh.
Yeah, so he's got him up, and he pulls a chair up, and he's just like, "You're not going to want this, but you need this." And he shoots his leg with propofol. Then he's like, "I'm going to cut you. This is your sciatic nerve." And in graphic detail, he's just digging this fucking scalpel into this guy's leg, and he's just twisting it and fucking him up. Then he proceeds to pour brake fluid into the fucking open wound, and you just see, because there's like brake fluid is caustic, so you just see it like oozing and bubbling, and this dude is just like in fucking pain. It's glorious.
Yeah, he's just screaming and just cursing everything left and right.
This one made you cringe pretty hard.
Yeah, I don't do well with cutting. Like I said earlier, like, there's certain things I can handle, but that and the fucking dart I couldn't do because it was just so, I made me like twist and turn and wiggle.
You see, and mine is bone through skin break.
Yeah.
Like if I see a bone, I can watch somebody get their arm broken, but if I see bone protruding through skin, I'm just like, oh, fuck.
He eventually gets his information from Joey about who the last person is. And he says, "You're not going to kill me, right?" He's like, "No, I won't. The Jack will."
Oh, yeah.
And he had a freaking massive chain hooked up to the beam that was holding the car up, and he just whips it out, and the front end of the bumper slams straight into Joey's head and literally just crushes it like a melon. It's like fucking Gallagher, that shit.
I was going to say, remember the Toxic Avenger when they run that fucking kid over with the car? That's what it looked like, with just fucking brain matter everywhere.
Yep.
Fuck. But yeah, so Joe gave up Knox, who was the other burglar.
Right.
And I think this is some of the point where Frank goes to Paul's house to check on him and figures out that he is the one that's doing all this shit. Because, dude, oh my God. And I realize that it's out of depression, and I realize that it's absolutely a very realistic take on how somebody would live during a trauma like this. But dude, when he flips the fucking light switch on in the basement, and it's just trashed, it looks like a fucking literal like bachelor's apartment that they don't fucking care. There's like burger wrap, there's like takeout everywhere, there's blankets everywhere, there's like fucking empty soda cans and fucking drink cans and utensils, and then all these empty bullet chambers and fucking boxes with ammunition and shit. And you see Frankie's just like, oh, gotta call A&E for the intervention.
You know, that's just the thing. Like every bad situation anybody's been through, that's like pretty much like word for word what they go through. It's like, oh yeah, take out food everywhere, beer bottles and stuff everywhere, you know, bullets and chambers and shit. Like
fucking binge watch shit on Netflix, like whatever, fuck it.
YouTube videos on how to make your own ammunition.
YouTube finding how to finding gun self-defense for women and men too.
Mm-hmm.
Jacked up cool cat. All cases may vary by trauma.
But yeah, Paul eventually comes home. There's Frank. He's like, "What the fuck, Paul?" Basically.
Right. And I think this was after he visits Jordan in the hospital, because he gets a phone call from Knox and tells him to meet him at this club bathroom or some shit in 30 minutes. So he goes in there, and long story short, there's a lot of gunfire, and he grazes Knox, but he gets out. And that's when he tells Frank, he's just like, "I'm not going to stop." And it was a really emotional moment too, because again, this is more of the the character development attachment where you feel for this version of Paul Kersey a little bit more because there's more like emotion in his face. There's more depression. There's more anger, sadness, everything. But in the same sense, Raines like shows up to confront Paul because they're starting to think that it's him. And Frank just kind of gives them the slip where he's just like, no, he's out at a dinner party, whatever. Well, the hospital calls Kersey because Jordan has come out of her coma. So that's when he goes up to the hospital and he looks at Frank and he's like, dude, it's over. Like, I'm done. Mm-hmm. And then we get to the final act.
Now, this part was the fucked up part because whenever he was wheeling out Jordan to the car, basically, Rain and I forget the detective's name, but the two of them were asking, how Jordan was doing, if she remembered anything. She's like, no, all I remember was getting my mom's iPad and everything went blank from there. And they get into the elevator and before they could close the door, here comes fucking Knox because he was one of the patients in the hospital and he was getting released too, which at the same time before this happened, the detectives actually came to him and asked him, do you recognize the shooter? And he goes, oh yeah, I do. And that's when they put two and two together. It's like, well, it's actually Paul, but they couldn't prove it because they didn't have any hard evidence basically or hard like conviction to do anything. So they kind of had the assumption at this point that Paul was the Grim Reaper basically. Well, other part of it, Knox was asking Jordan questions because he knew like, okay, well, this is that same chick that we fucked up and she's alive. She knows what one of us looks like and shit like that.
Right. And they're in an elevator. So it's extra uncomfortable because they're just going down in this fucking elevator and you're just like, oh, fuck.
And as soon as they leave the elevator, Knox goes, y'all take care, Mr. Kersey or Dr. Kersey. And it was just like, oh, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, he realized who it was too, because whenever Jordan was asking him what he was in for, he was like, well, it was a gunshot wound. Mm-hmm. And then you just see Bruce Willis kind of give that Bruce Willis look where what look I'm talking about, where he's just he's like, motherfucker, mm-hmm. So yeah, he leaves and, Jordan was like, well, who was that? And he was like, I don't know. It's another doctor's patient. At this point, Paul decides to go back to Cool Cat's Gun Emporium to take a visit to Bethany. Don't I know you? He's like, I think so. He legally purchases weapons to protect his family this time. So Jordan, Paul, and Frank are having dinner at his house. Frank leaves, but Paul notices some shadow on the front porch. So he proceeds to Harry Potter the fuck out of his daughter and sticks her under the stairs.
There's no such thing as magic.
No post on Sundays, bitch. Like, get under the fucking stairs.
It's where you live.
This is your new home. Enjoy it.
But yeah, she calls 911, tells them that there's a breaking and entering at her address while Paul is literally fucking home aloneing this shit now, which is fucking funny.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a Death Wish 3 reference, not like to that extent, but let's talk about the 3 kills because it's 3 of the guys and we're just going to get to it. Like, they all get fucking got. But how they get it is pretty funny. Paul has set up a fake version of himself in the bed, which is just pillows and a vest or whatever. So the first dude comes in and fires off shots. Then the shower is going. And immediately, again, I thought about the Home Alone 2 Cool Jerk scene with Bozo the fucking clown. I was like, it'd be funny if he just had him gyrating in that motherfucker too. Dude gets in there, he fucking shoots it. I fucking hate clowns. Now, there's nobody in there. But he turns around and he sees, he gets shot in the fucking head right there, right?
Yeah, as soon as he gets into the bathroom, like Paul's gun just shows up in frame, shoots him in the fucking temple and explodes all over the wall. And then he just pulls it back.
He painted that fucking door red. He painted the fuck out of that door.
But the body fell next to the bed. Paul was underneath the bed. And the second guy comes upstairs and all you see is fucking Paul's hand move the guy's arm with the machine gun and like both guns just blazing at the guy. And he chases him out and the guy fucking gets shot over the railing of the stairs down the floor. And this dude literally like scorpions his neck on the fucking way down.
And it made me laugh too because you hear the crunch and you're just like, oh my God, because it looks like, okay, so like his neck is facing, like his neck looks like his head is turned around facing where his back is. And then like his waist is all contorted where his legs are facing right. And he's just kind of like upturned. But he's got this fucking grin on his face, and it reminded me of the 1989 Batman whenever Joker does like all the Joker product commercial, because he just has that look, and I'm like, love that Joker. It's fucking beautiful, dude, but goddamn.
The shit-eating grin.
Yeah, literal shit-eating grin. Then we get to where Knox kind of, that's like a final showdown between him and Paul Kersey, because he goes down to the basement. Kersey gets shot in the arm, and he's sitting on the sofa. And I don't think we really saw this particular way of this particular thing happening. We think he's gonna, get distracted, which he does because he gets distracted by Jordan. I thought he was gonna lift his fucking pistol up and shoot him.
Mm-mm.
Oh no!
Home dude fucking gets to the wall, raises his gun. Paul kicks the damn table. Like he has a little like coffee table in front of him, which is one of the products from Cool Cat's Gun Emporium. It's literally a makeshift storage unit for a gun that pops out as a drawer upon impact. And he pulls his fucking like massive AR and just like blazes his fucking ass all over the fucking wall.
It looked like I know it probably wasn't, but just upon first sight, it looked like a miniature version of the big ass fucking hand cannon gun from the third one. The big one where he was like, yeah, he brought these home from the war.
What the oh yeah, like the Browning?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Similar to it.
Oh, dude, oh my God, he blew this bastard the fuck away. It was glorious.
Which I remember when he was drilling the holes into, I guess it was like this like device or something. I think that was when he was rigging up that table for, because I think he bought everything else that was supposed to be meant for, but he was actually, setting it up with that video, which...
Can we talk about that video for a second?
This guy, like, I don't know why, but he reminded me, like, the video. I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel, whatever it's fucking called, but they made it seem like he was just like some crazy ass, like, this is what you do with this part. Yeah. Like, this is how it works and whatever. But it reminded me of that YouTuber. I don't know if y'all guys remember this dude, but he like hot wires or like
he's like soldering shit.
He jerry rigs like random shit and he shocks the shit out of himself every fucking time or it explodes. And he always just like yelps like, ha! And he keeps doing the shit. That's what he reminded me of for some reason.
So ridiculous, dude.
Like, I think it was the same. He had that video where he had like the wiring of like something in his chair and it kept like every time he sit down, it would shock the shit out of him.
Yeah, it was like a combination of that and like Alex Jones being like ridiculously, fucking dumbass Alex Jones, basically, who was like, "Are you going to take this and you're going to drill this and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And it's going to turn the freaking frogs gay."
But yeah, like I knew he was working on that, but I wasn't sure like how he's implementing it. And then I saw the table. I was like, oh, yeah, that's what's going to happen.
That's what it did.
Yeah.
And in a beautiful moment, when Raines comes to investigate the whole scene, he's questioning him and he's like, yeah, I bought guns. The day my daughter came home, just in case something like this happened again. And it was almost, again, like the ending where, okay, so you're done, right? I'm letting you go, basically. But, the way Raines had put it was like, so what about the Glock? He's like, oh, it's gone. I had one for a while and got rid of it. So it's gone for good. And he's like, gone for good. And at that moment, I was like, well, good on Raines for realizing that, like, yeah, we didn't do jack shit. We dropped the ball.
Right.
Consider it a consolation prize. And his partner just looks at him and she's like, are you satisfied? And he just reaches over and grabs a slice of that good old Chicago deep dish pizza. Now I'm satisfied.
Actually, it wasn't deep dish. It was just like regular flat crust.
Oh, that pisses me off. I didn't notice. I thought it was deep dish because they kept eating deep dish throughout the whole movie. And I'm like, God damn, I want some fucking pizza.
Well, how was he satisfied if he didn't get deep dish? Like that's just baffles me now.
Look, he's bald, he's fat, he likes pizza. I mean, same here. Because, I mean, goddamn.
It's like you were a cop.
Exactly, dude. I'm gonna be fucking eating donuts, I'll be eating fucking pizza in the goddamn patrol squad unit.
I'm not satisfied.
I'm not satisfied.
Now I am.
Yeah. But I kind of laughed because that scene where they were talking to each other, sitting there like, man, two middle-aged bald men coming together. It's just, it's a thing of beauty.
There's understanding there.
Exactly. I see where they're going with this. So a few months later, Paul's dropping Jordan off at NYU, and we get a good nod to the original ending. This dude, there's like a bellhop or something, and some dude steals a bag from it. Kersey's like, hey, and he fucking looks over him. Kersey does the finger gun. He's like, poof. And then we get the fucking back in black for the fucking credits.
Which we forgot about that too, because the whole montage, whenever Paul was training himself, they were doing overlaps of him doing surgery and his job and stuff like that, which was kind of like...
That was a cool parallel.
Yeah, they were like showing like how like how he trains himself, like how smart and intelligent he is at the same time. But they were playing fucking AC/DC throughout the whole montage. And my first thought about this scene was just like, this song pops up with any gun-toting, like vigilante, like Southern boy, like kind of like sequence action of some sort. Like I'm somehow like, I don't know, like identifying of it.
Right. Which it's so. I think I personally hate it because I know for a fact it's like those guys, they're not writing this music for those type of people, but they just, take it upon themselves. They're like, yeah, this is my fucking song. I'm going to go fucking ham on them and I'm going to put some goddamn AC/DC on. Like, no, fuck you.
The guys are just like, more copyright, more royalty checks.
No shit. But that's Death Wish 2018. And we're probably going to piss a lot of fucking people off with this, but frankly, we don't give a shit. I think this one was better than the original.
I have to agree.
I mean, not like it was miles and miles fucking better, but I think in terms of the family unit, spending time with him, character development, getting to know that, he's a family man. He really cared about his family. Not that Bronson didn't care, but you got like 5 minutes with his family and then they're just gone.
Yeah. Like there was no motivation besides them dying, like why he kept fighting, because he literally just said like a little paragraph and that was about it. Versus Paul here, he went to dinner with them. He interacted with them. He, showed that he cared in a sense.
And I think that's the other nod we missed, because in the sequel to Death Wish, he actually hunts the original Death Wish sequel. He hunts down the particular people that murdered his daughter. So he hunts down the particular people in this one. I mean, he gets a couple of stragglers here and there, but he definitely hunts them down. I think with the first one, I think that's one thing that the first one does have, though, is that kind of aimless feeling of like the dude is just lost because he's never going to find the people that did it. So he's just, he's going down that path of like, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. And this is all I know how to do. And this is how I'm going to cope. I think this one outweighs it just a little more because of the emotional heaviness aspect.
Right.
Plus the action was pretty good.
Yeah. Like the death sequences and the gore was kind of hilarious, yet like just satisfying to a degree.
That's Eli Roth for you, though.
Mm-hmm. But it's not like a huge gap, like you said, of like this one's better in our opinion. They both have their quirks. They both have their kind of like but I actually thoroughly enjoyed 2018 more because of what we talked about, like just the overall like feeling that the movie portrays, the emotion behind it. Not so much the action. Like the action is fun and all, but it's not the defining point of why we liked it, basically.
Right, and I think the one of the other things the original has over this one is just kind of like the grittiness of it a little bit. It felt a little more dirty. It felt a little more gritty. I mean, this one's more polished and shit, but I mean, that's to be expected. It's 2018 versus a film that was made in 1974.
But what I like about the original is like, it was like the urban cowboy kind of feel to it. Like he was like this like gunslinger, like, taking vengeance, basically.
Well, I mean, if you think like, Bronson was like one of the Magnificent Seven.
Mm-hmm.
He had those roles back then. So he already had that swag about him, but then this was kind of like, this was like Bruce Willis Die Hard meets Death Wish.
Yep.
I liked it. I mean, if you haven't checked it out for yourself out there, definitely give it a watch. If you're going to watch it, at least watch it once and, enjoy yourself, damn it. Next week, we're going to come back and talk about Death Wish 4 versus Death Wish 5. Again, okay, so one of them is a canon film, which the fourth one is a canon film. The fifth one was done by an offshoot by a studio that Menahem Golan from Canon Films had a hand in. So technically, maybe it's a little bit canon-y, but we'll get to it when we get to it. And then, of course, we're going to round the month out with Death Kiss, which still haven't watched. Still probably not going to watch it until we do it before recording, because holy fuck. I don't know what to expect from it, quite frankly, other than it's probably going to be really terrible.
One way to find out.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
We'll shoot that gun.
That's right. Check us out on social media in the show notes below. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go buy some merch from us. Check out all the other shows on the Odd Pods Media Network. Donate to us on coffee.com if you so choose to do.
Buy our shit.
Buy our shit, and we'll throw it at you. All over your body.
Yeah, I will personally go to your house and just throw it at your doorstep and like, here's your shit.
He's serious.
Yeah.
Or we'll do like trauma surgeon Paul Kersey and just like staple it to your body with the fucking staples.
Yeah,
the
surgical staples.
Yeah, that scene was actually pretty fucked up too. We forgot to mention that when he has that fucking bullet graze in his left arm, he staples himself shut.
Yeah, it just reminds me when House did surgery on his leg. I was like, God, painful, but great at the same time.
Right. Got anything else, sir?
No, I'm pretty much good on that.
Yeah, same here. We're going to roll out of here and we'll see y'all next week. It was episode 155, Death Wish 2018. Until next time, I've been Midnight Agent Raw.
And I'm Okame.
Shades on.
Poachers.
My eggs!